Hello and welcome. My name's Peter Vaughan. Many of you are starting to see me out there now. I came from the grounds of what people would call numerology. Numerology is not about numbers. I keep pushing that point. It's a language, no different than letters of the alphabet are. So here am I with my same shirt on. I took a picture of when I was running for Mayor of Auckland, and I still have it in the wardrobe. Anyway, it's just an image of me showing as if I'm an energy or a ball of energy. Stuff is just pouring out of me and I'm receiving stuff all the time. So in depicting it this way, and the word energy there and the energy there, whenever we have a thought in the mind, the body steams it out and pumps it out in waves of energy, which is part of the attraction law and how that works. So you've seen my little stick man before many times. The brain, the grey matter, the core of the brain where you develop from, your limbic system, which is your fight-flight mode, your chemistry factory, all that sort of stuff goes on in here, and of course it's connected to the body. And the body itself, full of nerves, think a thought, out go the pulses. This is how the attraction law works. When you think something with emotion, it sends out the information. If you change your mind too often, it can't deliver the parcel that you've been looking for because your mind is scattered. You need to focus. I learned to focus in martial arts, and that's where knowing now that if you want something really badly sounds bad. If you really want something, you've got to know how to ask for it, and you'll get it. But you've got to know how to ask for it. So let me show you a few things. You came from a program, and I've got here a section of the DNA. The DNA itself looks like a ball of matter. It comes out of a chromosome, which you may have heard of chromosomes. They look like a couple of peanuts, but they are in fact a place where you house the DNA, and it divides and multiplies as your body does all the time. One thing about it is, if I've got here a ball of fluff, then from here to here it becomes a helix. Helix is a twisted form, and it's got little rungs on it, and if you straighten it out like that, you've got all of these ACTG bars that link together like steps of a ladder, and I've got some information on that, but just going to show you how that works. So if that was there like that, two sides of it, and I said, right, I'm just going to do this with it and twist it up and twist it up and twist it up and twist it up, because this is what it looks like inside you. Whoops, too far, not all far enough. I'll keep going. And to show you that when you are looking at that, I'm just going to let that go, and you'll see it start to form into little knots, like a little ball. The more I do that, of course, the tighter the ball will get. Now, when you start to undo it, like we're doing there, and we're seeing the helix, and all the criminal shows that you've seen, they get there in the lab and they divide it down, they try and find what matches you, because you're unique. So that's a wee bit about the DNA and the code of everything on you, the colour of your hair, your fingernails, your eye colour, the way your body's formed, your bone structure, anything that's wrong with you is in there. And that I'll call the creator, because they haven't cracked the code yet. And even the little machines that break that up and rebuild it again. It's happening all the time while you're watching this video. Billions of cells are changing and multiplying and regenerating. So where are we then? Well, you have a name. My name's Peter Vaughan. In fact, I was named after a movie, A Man Called Peter. My mum fell in love with the actor. It was a true story about a preacher who worked, or as a kid he went through the ropes. I think he came from Scotland or Ireland or somewhere, and he ended up in America, and he was the minister for the presidents. They have a spiritual advisor. And my mum fell in love with the actor, who was being portraying this guy called Peter Marshall. And I was out here in a tummy somewhere, and she said, oh, if I have a boy, I'm going to call him Peter and he shall be a preacher. Well, I sure do preach to people. Now, in that sense, I should have been called Richard, because she fell in love with the person Richard Todd, the actor, was portraying. And so I've been given the wrong name. And I teach this to other people. So I should be, in fact, Richard Vaughan, but I'm still going as Peter, knowing where I came from and what it means. So I've got a body, I've got a brain, I have an electrical system like this little fellow has here. I radiate energy. If I have a thought, it pulses out. I receive energy that's coming in because I'm in a soup of motion and of electrical magnetic fields. We're created from nature, therefore we fit. Nature created us. I don't care to what degree you might call another higher power, but we've been created from something, from this DNA. Fantastic, because every living organism on the planet has a DNA code in it. Amazing. So who created that? Where did that come from? It's complex. It really, really is. So leaving that aside and how that formed up, I'm going to come on the other side of the fence here. Here's the sun. That's, well, it's the edge of the sun, trying to show you a bit of size. I've got Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. Now, at this particular point, if I said that the sun rotated on its axis once every time the Earth did 27 revolutions, which is approximately exact what it's doing, approximately exact, we've got a ratio here of 1 to 27. Now, 3 9s are 27, and I'm specifically looking for that number because of my observations, over 280,000 approximately from what we've gathered it up and tried to work it out over 40 years, to find out that I've done enough speculation, observation, gathering of empirical data, creating statistics, and having proof of concept, and making predictions about things that have come to pass, including what's happening in the elections in New Zealand, what's happening with Trump, that Bill Gates is going downhill, it seems, very quickly, very soon. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. I've got a board in front of me down here. But with the Earth and even the Moon, which orbits our Earth about 27 times in a month, or should I say that's its cycle, its own 27-day cycle, and that ties up with the rhythms of the Earth, and when people have, women and men have menstrual cycles. Not quite the same, but they get moody at the same time. So the ratio is always 9. Now 3 times 9 is 27, as I mentioned up here. If somebody took a photograph for you when you'd just been born and they said, I'm going to take a picture of the sky, and they get the camera up and go snap, and all the stars that are in those positions, exactly 18 years, 11 days and 8 hours later, 18 years, you take another picture here up into the sky and all of those stars will be in the same position they were when you were born. 18-year cycles. 1 plus 8 equals 9. They call this thing a Saros cycle. It's actually a term given by the astronomical people. And when you look at Saros, as I have done, S-A-R-O-S, and you look at the letters of the alphabet, now this is interesting. If the alphabet didn't work, it wouldn't fit. It wouldn't last long. And it does fit because we communicate with it very, very well, and we've built our world around us from it. S is the 19th letter of the alphabet. A the 1st, R the 18th, O the 15th, and S the 19th. If I add those together, 1 plus 9 equals 10, and 1 and 0 equals 1. I put them up the top in their shortened version. You'll see here, but by adding up those numbers, 1 to 11, 17, 18, and 1 plus 8 equals 9, this way it adds up to 72, and 7 and 2 is 9. It's interesting that is because that name given to this particular cycle match. They both come to the number 9, or the cycle of 9, the frequency of 9. Down here we've got positive and negative. I put that up with the yin-yang symbol, the Taji, I think as Bruce Lee called it. But we've got an opposite, the dark side, the white side, and they both circulate and follow each other all the time. It's a rhythm, a natural rhythm. The point with that is, if you took the word positive and you took the word negative, the polar opposites of each other. And in nature, nothing exists without its polar opposite. Everything has a polar opposite. Here's a funnel, for example. This funnel, it's not a hat, it's purely a plastic object with an outside because it's got an inside. It's got a front because it's got a back, a left and a right, a top and a bottom. Everything about it has got an opposite. In fact, the complete opposite of the funnel is no funnel. So there's a way of looking at everything and saying, oh, that's interesting. So the word positive, which have got the numbers under it, the same as I've done for the other aspect. In fact, I might, I don't have it here. I have a graph which shows how to convert the letters to numbers. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, that sort of thing. And the letters themselves then create a pattern of numbers that relate to 9. Positive, the word positive sums to the number 43, which results to 7. Negative sums to the number 38, which is 11, which reduces to 2. 7 and 2 equals 9. Polar opposites still create the whole. They fit. And we've given them these names. I didn't, but they were being given out there. So with all the stuff going on around us, and all fitting in with this lovely harmonic of nature, people fit in this way as well. What people have overlooked is, a bit like the nose on your face, you don't know it's there, you're overlooking it all the time until you look down and you sort of see a faint shadow either side from each eye, seeing your nose. You get these little mirror image nose things there, you can see them. Have a look. Okay. That particular part's right in front of us, but we overlook it. Literally, we overlook it. So when that's taking place, we overlook also that what we're talking about is not pre-programmed. I don't think of all the letters that are coming out of my mouth when I'm talking to you. They come out through my subconscious, acting on an emotional idea. That comes down to this. I've got Bill Gates here. This is Bill Gates' part of his chart. These ones across the top here are him. When I say they're him, the sound of a person's name, which is impressed in a child's mind, their own name, when they have an emotional event as they're growing up from their formative years. Wet nappies, frightened, wanting a cuddle, hungry. Each of those things there always come with the cuddle, the contact, and the sound of their name. The sound of their name. There's a problem with some people's names, and when they go through a cycling event, because Bill Gates has got 3 names, William, Henry, Gates. His father's name is William Henry Gates, and his father was named Henry William Gates. This actually sets up a very, very destructive cycle, because although the names are the same, the bodies are different. And when you have a name and a body that don't match, you have a clash, a problem. Bill Gates is Asperger's, and he's got this rocking thing going on when he's younger. His mind is different. He had a lot of money when he got into his Microsoft game. He was a bit cunning, a bit cruel to some of the people he worked with. Not a nice guy. Nonetheless, these are his tumbling numbers here, like a one-armed bandit, based on the letters of his name, rolling. And where he's at is right now, we've got this arrow going down through the timeline. And we come down here, I've got him, and then I've got his environment. And when he and his environment match up, that's when you have a reaction. And from that, I'm able to ascertain that where he's at right now, last year, these are in years, each of these columns, last year and this year and the next 3 years, he is not moving out of a mode that represents giving for humanity, giving out, supporting, helping. The moment you reverse in polarity to that, then it's taking from humanity. It's taking for the self. It's being worked so I grab it. When you do that, nature says that doesn't fit, because nature is 98% constructive and 2% destructive. It's not perfect. That's why it's always evolving. The fittest will survive. And in this case here, when you start to breach it for all the wrong reasons, people's emotions rise up. Everybody's pouring out emotion. And it's like warning signals. And Bill Gates is beginning to become the target of a lot of negative energy. It's going to affect him. And lo and behold, it sure will. Because where he's at right now, he has a huge amount of responsibility and money to deal with right now. Next year, when he comes into this particular pattern here, this 977 pattern, and I'm not going to go in how I got that, but I do teach this. In fact, this is part of the beginning of my courses. Down here it says, with that pattern, it's very likely he's going to get sick. He's going to have a major lesson come across him. And from what I'm understanding, it's going to be something with this COVID thing going on and the patents he's had for it, and the possibly, I could say that it's an alleged assumption or assessment, he's behind this bloody thing, and it's hurt the world and it's killed lots of people. In fact, some of the vaccines he's put out around the Eastern world, India and other countries like that, where he's played with people's lives, telling them something that he's giving them, and it was something else, and people are being killed, made sick, become infertile, and he's just getting away with it. As we go along the year after, so this is 221 and 222, this here says a lot of money, a lot of materialistic changes are taking place. And that arrow going up through here, and that 9 year following, this one and this one here, is like a serious, serious slap in the face. The word law, just as an example, L-A-W, L is the 12th letter of the alphabet, A is the first, and W is the 23rd. 2 and 3, or 23, 24, 34, 36 equals 9. So he's got 999, law, law, law. Outside, inside, and the result is again more law. It's very likely with that 2 pattern following, he's going to be broke or in jail or some such thing. Now, does he deserve that? Probably. Am I here to administer it to him? No. Other people will do it for me, or for others for us. So when I do this stuff here, the basic thing I do to show people is you come from somewhere. And even in astrology, which I don't do, astronomy, yes. But when I start to look at the way the Earth's axis is tilting like this, the way the Sun's axis is about to flip, I think in about 3 years now, the Sun will go from the way it is now. It's got the South Pole at the top, as we look at it, and the North Pole down the bottom. And every 11 years, it turns around and does this. It's amazing. And when it changes, there's a rippling effect, like a big wave that goes through the universe behind it. It's a big magnetic wave, like a splashing rock in a pond, and all these big ripples come out from it. This is what's happening when you've got these kind of objects moving around our galaxy. It's a fascinating subject, one I have a lot of passion for. But if I can do anything here today, is to tell you that the process, I think, if you've heard of Bob Proctor and The Secret, he actually gave me that term after talking with him for quite a few hours, me and his CEO, Sandra Gallagher. We chatted and she got wrapped with this stuff, and she said, this is way, way more than numerology. And I said, it's not numerology. And she was like blown away by it. Bob was keen on it too, and he said, what do you call this thing? And I said, well, numerology and other things. He said, no, it's a process. He said, call it the Vaughan process. What does that sound like? What does that add up to? And I did that, and it was great. Now, I don't work with Bob. I don't have anything to do with him really. But there are some stories there which I could tell you, but not for video stuff, not now anyway. When I'm doing this stuff here, I'm showing people how to change your life, because once you know who you are, where you are, what you're doing, and the time in your life where you were at, you can avoid problems before they come. You can help yourself and other people at the same time. And I'm going to show you a little bit now of what a chart looks like. So this is normally on a graph, but what we've got, his name, William Henry Gates. I've reduced his name, William, to 7, Henry to 7, and Gates to 7. Isn't that interesting? 3 sevens. Now, 3 sevens, which is his name, adds up to the number 3. 7, 7, 7, 21, 2 and 1 is 3. Now, if you were to add up the word computer, C-O-M-P-U-T-E-R, taking the letters from the alphabet in their positions and add them up, and sum them down to a single digit, it comes to the number 3. He's even got in the vowels in his name, the I, the A, the E, the A and the E. If you take those up and sum them up, they also come to 3. Is it any wonder that he got into computers the way that he did? Right now then, what we're looking at is taking you on a journey of time in your life. You come in, you'll leave. You've got a purpose and a job to do, and when you discover what that is, your whole life can change. The partner you've got with you, the job, the career you're involved in, when to stop, when to start something new. And I just happen to have here something that I did a while back, which was fun. We're looking at doing it again. I called it the Time Lord. We did a show, it was absolutely fun and fantastic. But I came onto a stage, we did something for the people, and then we matched people up with people. We made it into a bit of a get-together gathering thing, like a table for 8, but far more accurate. And once that was all over, I showed people how to read people's faces, their clothing, the way that they spoke, their eye movements, where their ears are on their head. All these things I teach people about, because I love teaching and helping people know who they are and where they're going. If you would like to know more, you can go to my website, which I'll put up here. It's Peter Vaughan, so the dub thing, but Peter Vaughan, PeterVaughan.net. And in there, You can get profile reports. Now, I've got a wee bit of a special on this month only. If a person gets one of those reports, they'll have an extended version which is about 30 odd pages long. It'll give you a forecast from January of this year right through to October of 2021. It will also tell you not just what's happening around you, how you feel. Not just that, but how you feel and what's happening around you, what you should do for best effect, which is this line here. This line of numbers right in the middle, and or up here. This is monthly, this is annually, this is Bill Gates' chart, and I've got an X there because he's not looking too good. Anyway, we can tell when a new beginning's starting. We can tell what you could be looking out for health problems, where success lies, and what you should be doing. If you'd like to get one of those reports, go up there now, they're $70, New Zealand. And if you have any issues, I can take that further and I can spend a couple of hours with you online, in a Zoom or on a Skype. That costs a bit more, but it means I'll cover so much more and you're getting it right direct from here, because the scripts and text that I write for this, they're laborious. So I've made them quicker by writing them all out, and I just quickly package them up and send them off to people with all the material on it. But it's nothing like having a live one. That's really cool. So if you'd like to have that, get hold of Peter Vaughan, send me an email, and I'll come back to you. My email's up there. And when you do go to get a package up there which says get your profile now, there's some video clips in there you can have a look at when I was on television, and unveiling stuff that we couldn't know about. And I was up against some clairvoyants and astrologers and tarot readers, and here's me doing the name analysis stuff. And it was quite a phenomenal show. So have a look at it, you'll be surprised. We didn't know these people until in front of the cameras, and come up with some interesting concepts. I'm an observer, I'm a profiler, and I enjoy helping people. If you'd like to learn this stuff, my courses are starting off. I'm doing my first course tomorrow for somebody. It's the launching of it. I'm doing 3 sections. First one is doing advanced numerology. And I say numerology, it's not about numbers, it's a language, you've got to learn it. Once you've got that down, the next thing you do is you're going to go through the past and present, going backwards and forwards in your life. So these are years, these ones are months. So we go back any time to your birth, and I can provide evidence of what happened in your past without even knowing that. The same evidence that I can go into the future. So hindsight can't exist unless there's foresight. Finally, we've been able to read it, which is why I called it the Time Lord Show, because I'm the only Time Lord on the planet. I can see the future and make a note of it. Like I can with Trump, who's winning the elections over here, and what's happening in the world. And I said that September 2020 was going to be the tipping point, and it looks just like that. Because right now, I think there's going to be a massive surge against COVID-19 as being fake, fabricated, for the corporations who are looking for this. And the way they're going to get it is to give you fear. Thanks kindly. petervaughan.net, or www.petervaughan.net, and we'll find out who you are and where you're going. And if you like, organise a time with me. I'm available for now, but we will be doing some shows, and possibly all online, purely because I can't travel around the world at the moment. We've got bubbles to get out of. Thanks kindly. Catch you later. I'm turning you off.